Welcome to the Beyond Sugar Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Danielle Dame, holistic nutrition coach and speaker. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's great to see you again. Oh, I wish I could see you. That would be so great. Maybe one day we'll have that capability here in the podcast world. But for meantime, I just want you to know that I feel you there. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you who have been listening, either new to the podcast or maybe you've been here since the beginning, almost a year ago. Wow, it's incredible how time flies and how many amazing conversations we've been able to have. And today is no different. Today, we're kind of taking a little bit of a different turn from the regular content that I bring you here every week and actually talking more deeply about what it means to really invest in ourselves and not just money, but time and energy as well, and what it actually means when we have resistance around doing that. I'm going to share my own journey with investing in myself and the best investments that I've ever made that have really actually made the biggest impact for me in my health and healing journey. I know clients and people are always asking me, what are the best things that you've done? You know, what are the biggest things that have made the biggest impact for you in your healing journey? So today I want to share some of that with you. And I'm really, really excited to share this list with you because some of them are going to be surprise investments. You're like, what? How does that actually help you grow and heal? And I'll be sharing all about that. Now, before we dive into that, I have some really exciting things I want to share with you. As you probably know by now, registration for the next round of my signature 10-week Break Free from Sugar program opens on January 24th. So from January 24th to January 28th, for a few short days, I'm opening registration and I'm releasing all the information about the program and details here on the podcast, as well as to everyone who is on the wait list and on my email list. So if you haven't done that yet, come and get on the wait list to get all the details about joining the program, what it means, what the investment is, all of those questions that might be looming for you right now. And I'm really, really excited to share that with you because every time I host this program, I make improvements, I shift things up, I add new bonuses, and it's going to be really, really juicy this time around for many, many reasons. So I want to share with you actually I just wrapped up a round of this program that was so incredible. I love it. And I love seeing the type of women that are attracted to working with me, that are really ready to show up in community and also for themselves in their own way. So I want to share some words from Tracy, who just finished this last round of the program and blew me out of the water with her commitment and the things that she was able to really tap into. So Tracy shares, embarking on this journey, I honestly didn't know what to expect. However, after week 2, I knew that I was in the right place. Danny helped me peel back layers within myself that I didn't know were at the root of my sugar addiction and finally begin to heal. I've spent the last 6 years paying for numerous online nutrition coaching companies, and I've been struggling to see any of the success or results that I wanted. Danny helped me see that it wasn't about food at all. And my only regret was that I didn't find the Break Free from Sugar program sooner. So I'm so blown away by Tracy, and we will get her on the podcast one day to share her story because it's really, really, really powerful. But I'm sure there's a lot of you that can relate to that, right? Trying all these things for decades that just aren't working. And this program and what I've created is really so unique. And I'm going to be talking about that in later episodes here on the show. I want to share one more because this one just cracked my heart wide open, and even reading them to you right now just gives me such goosebumps. But I want to share what Lisa also had to say. She also just finished the recent round of the program. And she says, I'm so thankful I found Danny's program. Yes, it's about sugar addiction, but it's so much more. I've tried all the things in an attempt to get control of my self-sabotaging behaviors. None of my previous attempts to gain control of my unhealthy patterns were successful. Danny's program digs deeper into the root causes of my unhealthy habits. It was so eye-opening for me. She shares so much useful information and includes an amazing collection of materials, all presented incredibly organized in a very user-friendly way. The group Zoom meetings are deeply meaningful and impactful. And this program is like a journey that builds upon itself each week, instilling new wisdom little by little and shifting the way of thinking. I have so much gratitude for Danny and the beautiful women who were in my group. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for your words and for sharing that here. And I hope that anyone listening can see a little bit of themselves in maybe that hope and that part of you that knows that there's something different out there for you that you haven't tried and are ready to actually do things differently. So one of the things, I'm just going to briefly mention this and then we're going to get into today because this is a really hot topic and I have some really powerful things to share with you as I've done a lot of work on my relationship with money and my relationship with myself and how those kind of come together. But one of the things that I'm super excited to bring into this next round of the program is more deep understanding of our body and the wisdom and messages and intuition that our body actually has for us in our healing journey. And what I mean by that is I'm actually, at the time of recording this, I am heading away in a few days to a 7-day somatic embodiment and breathwork retreat and training. So I am personally going to get some somatic therapy training and breathwork training. These are some tools and some really, really, really powerful resources that I'm going to be bringing in and teaching everyone inside the next Break Free from Sugar program so we can really deepen into releasing the stuck emotions, releasing the trauma, releasing the shit from our bodies that is no longer serving us so we can really ultimately step into our power, step into wanting to be healthy, wanting to make healthy choices for ourselves and releasing those addictive patterns. So this work around getting back into the body, I've seen this every time I host the program, is becoming more and more and more prevalent and important when we're doing this deep inner healing. So I'm going to get some more training in that so I can bring even more tools and resources and exercises to the next group. So this is going to be really, really special. I'm excited to bring in some new things to the next group in the program. Okay, so investing in ourselves. This is a conversation we're having today, and I'm going to share my journey with this. We all have a journey with this. But what does it actually mean to invest in yourself? So when we usually say that, and I say, there's an investment for the upcoming program, or I want you to invest over here, right? We start thinking of our retirement savings fund and the stock market, and we start thinking about money, right? But investing in ourselves is actually just an extension or an act, what I call an act of self-love in supporting your growth and healing for something that feels aligned for you. Now, investing in ourselves, it comes from, usually this source of limited resources or the idea that the resource is limited. So the most common resources when we talk about investing in yourself are time, money, and energy. So investing energy in a project or investing energy in spending time with a friend, right? And the time, you're investing time with somebody, right? You're also can invest money in yourself, right? To purchase the program, right? Or work with a coach or do all these things, buy organic food. So there's a few ways, right? That all of these areas are ways that we invest in ourselves. And in any moment, we're spending our time, our money, and energy on something. Now, the question here that I want to pose for all of you today, I have a few questions for all of you, is what are you actually valuing? And it is in alignment with what you want to be valuing. So often this is actually a really powerful exercise I did years ago with my coach, where I took stock of where I was spending my time, my money, and my energy every month. And I really started keeping track of that. And boy, was it a tedious exercise, but it was so eye-opening to see where was I actually valuing things in my life that were not in alignment with what I wanted to actually value or my real values, right? Sometimes we can get so sidetracked. We think, obviously, here's a really easy example, right? We value having a roof over our head and a safe space to fall asleep at night. So yeah, I'm going to be spending my money and my energy on paying my rent, right? So that is in alignment with a goal, right? Versus noticing that you're spending, 30 hours a month on TikTok and noticing, holy smokes, I spend a lot of time and energy on TikTok. That's actually time and energy I could use meal planning because being on TikTok is not a value. but maybe entertainment is, or maybe, whatever it is you're getting out of TikTok is, right? So it's a really great opportunity to, and I'm kind of going off topic. I wasn't planning to talk about this, but this values piece of noticing, where are you spending your resources? And is it actually in alignment with your values? And is it actually the way you want to be investing those resources in your life? This is where we get really intentional, ladies. Where do we want to spend our time? With our family, maybe, right? Or traveling, or with ourselves out in nature. And are you actually doing that? Most of us are not. Most of us are misaligned in the way that we're actually using these resources in conjunction with what we actually want to be valuing and using them on. So this is your opportunity to take stock of that right now. And investing in yourself with any of these resources looks different for everyone. The way that I choose to invest in myself, and I'm going to share some of those later, is going to be different than what you feel is important to invest in yourself. And that's great. Okay, so there's no blueprint here. This is really, really important for you to know. Now, why is it so hard? Right? I really want to talk about this because I have a story here as well. Why is it so hard to invest in ourselves? And I know there's a lot of you listening to this because all of my clients are women that come to me having a really hard time taking any time for themselves, let alone investing in themselves financially, for a program or a training or going to a retreat or, buying new running shoes, like these small things. Why is it so hard to take the time, to take the energy, to take the money and point it at us? And what I've seen in my own healing journey and in every single client that I work with is when we start really diving deep into the inner work, like we do in the Break Free from Sugar program, is we really start to uncover the truth here that most women are walking around not feeling worthy and not feeling worthy of their dreams, of investing in themselves, in all of these pieces. Not worthy of love, not worth getting what I want, I'm not worth having the body that I desire. There's this huge epidemic of humans and women specifically walking around with this core wound of I'm not worthy. And this hugely shows up when we look at investing in ourselves. If you are sitting there right now listening to that going, oh boy, I never invest in myself, time, energy, or money. This is so icky and hard and that's selfish. Like, paying attention to what stories are coming up for you right now, because I guarantee there's a limiting belief in there. And I hope that this is bringing up some of that stuff for you. But I want to really have you deepen into checking in and being aware and being curious without judgment. Is this piece showing up for you? I am not worthy of investing $5,000 in my growth, right? I am not worthy of investing in the organic bananas at the store. Is there a piece where deep down you feel like everyone else is more important than you? Your money, your time, your energy should be spent on everyone else but you. That is a red flag that you do not feel worthy. There is something in your energetic field and your belief systems and your subconscious that is keeping you from really valuing yourself, your health, your healing, your process. And I know this because this was me in a big, big way. I did not see my value for years, decades. This has finally been unraveling the last few years for me, and it's just been absolutely life-changing. But not feeling worthy of a healthy relationship, not feeling worthy of feeling good in my body, not feeling worthy of setting a healthy boundary and having people in my life who support me and don't want to bring me down. All of these pieces shows up in so many areas. Another thing that's really going on here that I want to point out hard for all of you is that this is the number one thing that drives me absolutely insane on a daily basis. And I'm just sharing that with passion because I know that most of you are doing this. This is a human condition. This is one of the ways that we have been trained and brainwashed to really believe about our health. We do not see value in preventative health. But oh boy, when we get sick, then we'll see the value of looking after ourselves. Time and time again, my clients come to me, they've already been diagnosed with diabetes, they've already had a heart attack, they've already gained so much unhealthy weight, they've gotten to this place of rock bottom, right? And there's some sort of event, or a friend has passed away because of health conditions at a young age, or their blood sugar levels are starting to spike, right? And they're worried about diabetes. Like all of these things start to develop. And then, only then, do humans decide to spend money, time, energy on themselves to fix the problem. And at that point, it's not impossible. We can absolutely reverse a lot of this stuff and these diseases and heal the body in an amazing way. But it is going to be so much harder and take so much longer and cost a lot more money, time, and energy than if we really started valuing as a society preventative health. And that's what I'm here to preach. You know, I didn't hit any huge health crisis that caused me to make changes. It was this deep inner knowing that, hey, if I continue on this track, that's my future, because that's my genetic future for sure. And I've talked about that before. So I don't want that future. And I'm going to do everything in my power, not to say I'm going to completely avoid chronic disease or some of these diseases that show up, but I'm going to do my darndest to do what I can to nourish my body and look after myself now, so that that's not a high likelihood. I'm going to do what I can. And we have so much more power than we've been told. So this is a big part of why I see so many women having a hard time investing in themselves, whether it's, you know, it's a program or a coach or a therapist or going to a retreat or taking a weekend away to nourish and rest for yourself. We don't see the value of that versus if we got diagnosed with cancer. And here we are going, no brainer. I'm taking out money from here. I'm going to spend the money that I need for my treatments and fight this thing. So I want you to remember, right, especially when we talk about the medical system and the medical stuff, that preventative medicine is always, always more cost effective, less time intensive, and less draining on your energy. But we don't see that, right? It's this weird conundrum that we're in as human beings. This is human perception, right? And this is how our society runs. Like, wait till it gets bad. And then instead of spending, you know, a couple $1,000s on being healthy every year, we're spending $100,000 on cancer treatments or medication or these huge, crazy, elaborate surgeries. We don't have to do that. So I want to offer this to start planting the light, and hopefully you're starting to notice this already, that we can really save ourselves a lot of time, a lot of hassle, a lot of energy, a lot of money if we really get into making changes now. I love the saying, you know, the best time to start something was yesterday, but the second best time is today. I forget who said that. One of my mentors told me that along the way. And it's so true, right? You know, we wish we'd started things sooner, or that we weren't so far along in our like unhealthy habits, but it's okay. Today is the day to start, right? Today is the second best day to do that. Now, I want to just mention here quickly too, that I'm not talking about being financially irresponsible. This is something that comes up whenever, you know, I launch my program and people are seeing the investment in themselves and they're, can I make that happen? And there's a big difference here. I'm never, ever, and a really important disclaimer, I'm never asking any of you to do anything financially irresponsible. I'm not saying, you know, to sell your house, kick your husband and kids out, and go and move to Costa Rica. Take them with you. That would be great. But, you know, really finding that balance for you, because more often than not, and I know this personally because I've come from a lifetime of scarcity mindset, really not being in abundance, not knowing my power, my capabilities, the possibilities. And there's a difference between being irresponsible and, say, spending money you don't have, or sitting around all day, skipping work, right? Just being at home all day because you want to rest and take time for yourself, versus finding the ways where that's possible, right? I think this is one of the things that so many of us forget, is how powerful it is to live in the possibility. So I live from this place where anything is possible. Anything is possible. And this is a new total beingness that I've absorbed over the last 6 years. And I've seen it. We see it all over. We see people doing crazy things, right? Just incredible things, showing us that humans are capable of so much. And when we start understanding energetics and our own power and manifestation and all these things, we can see that everything is possible when we take our blinders off. Even finding money. And this is what I want to offer because I have a story with this, right? That even when I didn't have any money and my business had just started and I had 0 clients and I was really struggling, I found ways to invest in myself that made a difference, right? And it was time, energy, and money, right? Investing in myself to buy the new runners that was going to help me get out every day and go for a walk or a run, right? And investing in an apartment that I loved that had lots of light so that I felt inspired every day. So that's different, right? Is living in this possibility. That's what I want to come back to here, is asking yourself questions when you're posed with something like maybe there's a retreat that you've always wanted to go to, or somewhere you've always wanted to travel, or a program that you've always wanted to done, or maybe you've always wanted to hire Danny and work with Danny as a coach, right? The question becomes, how can I make this happen? How, living in a world of possibility, we ask questions like how, instead of, oh, that's too expensive. I don't have the time. I can't do it. Forget it. We say, okay, this feels really aligned. I want to do this program, or I want to do this thing. How could I make this happen for me? How could I find the time? How could I find the money? How could I make this happen for me? This is one of the most powerful questions we can ever ask ourselves. And you might not get an answer right away, but if you let yourself get into open mode, this opens your subconscious to possibilities. Oh, okay. I could take a little money from here, or I could work a couple extra shifts at work, or I could not spend money on this thing this month so that I could invest in this thing because it's more important to me. There's so many ways that we can find time, find money, and find energy in our life. It's about reallocating resources. Because I guarantee we are all, as humans, spending time, money, and energy on things that aren't in alignment with our values, that could be realigned with something that's actually important to us. Like perhaps healing your relationship with sugar in a lasting way. So this is, I shared little tidbits about my story, but I definitely can relate to those fears around investing in yourself. For years, I've been building my business for the last 6 years now, and especially around money. For the first 3 years, I felt broke. I felt so poor. I didn't have enough clients. I was not making a living. I didn't want to do anything else. I'd never wanted to work for someone else again. I wanted to live my passion. And I knew I had this message. I knew I had these gifts. I knew that I was amazing at what I did and helped my clients really transform. But I wouldn't invest in myself. And I started really realizing through my mentors, through the people that were in my network at that time, that until I really started valuing myself, charging more for my services, and asking what I was worth, and investing in my growth and my healing, that if I didn't do that, nothing was going to change. So I think I've shared this story once before, but I remember the moment I decided to jump in and hire my own business coach. And it was a $10,000 investment that I did not have. My bank account had 0 in it. I don't remember what it had at the time, but it was close to 0. And I really got to this place of rock bottom with myself where I realized I cannot keep doing and living the way that I'm living. I cannot keep living in this scarcity with this passion and this mission that I need to support women and get out there in the world. And I need someone to pull me out of this hole. That was it. I was in this hole. I was in this void. I did not see the possibilities. I didn't know what my options were. I was lost. And I knew that I had to keep going. And I knew that I had to do something different, and I had to do something terrifying. And my choice for that was to hire a coach. And it was the biggest, scariest investment I've ever made. And it was really a tipping point for me in working with that coach, helping me, just like I do as a coach, helping me see my blind spots and open up to the world of possibility to start thinking differently, acting differently, showing up differently. Everything changed. I started attracting more clients. I started making more money. I started feeling more excited about my business and what I was working on. I started investing more in myself. I signed up for another program that I'm actually still currently a part of with another business mentor that has been invaluable in helping me in the back end with all my systems and all sorts of things that I'm doing that you all don't see behind the scenes. And it's been life-changing. And that was really, I call it the tipping point, because not only did it help me start really finally seeing the results that I wanted to, especially my business, but it was also the tipping point in helping me own my worth and my value and realizing like I am worthy and I'm of investing in this way. And it's scary. And I really got to look at why that was scary and started uncovering my limiting beliefs and doing some big clearing around a lot of blocks that I was holding on, especially around money, and around my own growth and my own fears. A lot of shit started coming up, and I got to clear a lot of that. And I'm continuing to clear that today. There's always new layers, but that really was the start of loving investing in myself. Now I have no problem investing in myself. I just told you about this retreat that I'm going to. It's over $2,000 for a week-long retreat and training, and it's a no-brainer. Done. I'm in. This feels so aligned. I need to do this training. I'm going to be there. It's going to be so good. And it flows now for me. So it's like a muscle. I want you to think of investing in yourself and really sinking into your worth and value as building a muscle. It takes practice. It takes commitment. And it does take investing in things that feel a bit scary. Maybe it's time commitment, money commitment, energy commitment. Because for me, it really was not until I started making scary investments in myself that things changed. I can't tell you how many free courses, free coaching things, like PDFs, podcasts, books, all the things that I was soaking in. All the free Facebook groups I was in, trying to build my business, trying to figure it out. How do I get this passion and mission that I know I'm on this planet here for out into the world? And I just couldn't. It was brick wall, brick wall, brick wall, brick wall. And this is because I was playing small. I was getting the free things, the cheap things. Like I wasn't fully energetically committed to my healing and my inner healing as well as my, my business growth. So pushing myself out of my comfort zone in a major way was what made all the difference. And I know that for many of you, that might be this upcoming program, right? The Break Free from Sugar program may be a stretch. It may be scary. It may be terrifying, but I want you to really pay attention to your inner voice, your inner wisdom here, right? Is this really something that you are ready to heal your relationship with sugar and food so that you are no longer guilting and shaming and repeating the cycle of misery for yourself year after year? To finally get back in control, get back in the driver's seat, feel empowered, feel amazing in your body, feel like food doesn't control you, you're back in charge. Like, what would that do for your life? And I'm willing to bet, because you're listening to this podcast, that that's kind of something that's important to you, right? So I also want to highlight here, and this is a fun example because it shows us, this is a money example, but we can use this with time and all the resources, that value is really, really subjective. Value and investment cost, right, is something that is very subjective depending on what you are valuing. So if you want a pack of gum, right? This is a great example, right? And I'm like, no problem. I've got gum for you. Here, what flavor do you want? Hubba Bubba? I don't know if that's a flavor. Cherry Hubba Bubba gum. You're like, yes, please. How much? $5,000. What? You're going to look at me like I'm crazy. $5,000 for a pack of gum? No way. You're wild. And you're going to walk away. Probably not want to be my friend anymore because I'm a little bit loopy, right? Now, what if $5,000 instead of for a pack of gum was actually the price for your dream home? That would be a steal. That is cheap. Oh my goodness. Yes, please sign me up. You wouldn't even hesitate for a minute. Your dream home comes on the market. It's got bright windows and pastoral views. This is my dream home we're talking about, by the way. But $5,000. Sign me up. Yes, I'm in. No problem. So the value, the number doesn't matter. It's the value that we're attaching to the thing that we see after that. So if you're not valuing your health, your time, your energy, your journey, right? And ultimately yourself, seeing yourself as worthy, investing in anything for your health is going to feel impossible. And you're not going to be doing it. And maybe you're not doing it. So I want you to just pause here. Don't be driving, but even just closing your eyes and just taking a deep breath with me. And I want you to just really, I know I've shared a lot, get present with what is your health actually worth to you? What is your health actually worth to you? And what is creating a healthy and peaceful relationship with food and your body worth to you? And get honest with yourself. Is it something that you value? Is it something you want? Is it something that is actually worth the investment for yourself to make these changes in a lasting way? Because investing in my health and healing has always, always, always been the best investment. It has always helped, brought back return on investment tenfold. Whether it was energetically or that weekend that I decided to, not do this one thing, but I'm going to go and spend a weekend with these women or go to a women's circle or connect with people. It always fueled me and brought so much more into my life. The more I invest in my health and my healing journey at a deep level, the more I step into who I'm really meant to be, and the more I feel so alive and free every day. Not every day. I have low days. This morning was a bit rough, but I'm back on it, chatting with you. But the more I do this work, the more I put my credit card out there or my calendar or my energy, the more I actually bring that abundance back into my life. It's pretty amazing to see the more I'm investing in myself, especially financially, the more I actually attract into my life, whether it's people bringing me free things that I needed or, a new client coming in and filling my bank account, right? So it's a really beautiful, energetic game to play when we notice that money is just energy, our time is energy, and these things that when we're choosing to spend them in a way that feels in alignment with us, that it does actually, the universe actually brings that back in different ways. So there's so many things. And I was just sitting before this episode trying to make the list of these best investments that I've ever made. And I'm sure there's more than this, but these are the ones that really popped off the top of my head in terms of the best investments for various reasons that I've ever made in my health and my healing. And some of these are very obviously investments in my physical health. And some are really deep, deep investments in my personal growth and my inner healing, my deep inner healing, my mindset healing, my trauma healing, my energetic healing, and all of these things that we really do at a deep level in the Break Free from Sugar program, because it's important. This is really where, as I always say, our relationship with sugar is just a mirror of our relationship with ourselves. So really deepening into my relationship with myself and discovering and really truly learning to believe that I'm worthy and I'm lovable and I'm enough, and all of these core wounds have really, been one of the amazing byproducts of investing in myself. Okay, so what are these investments? Number one, this is the first one that pops in my head because it's the most fun. Buying a sauna. So for those who don't know, last year, actually it's been over a year now, in October 2021, I'm trying to remember what year it is, we bought a cedar barrel sauna, and it's wood fired. It is so my happy place. I cannot even begin to describe. We bought it from a local company here on the west coast of Canada, and we built it ourselves. It's outside. We even upgraded and invested in this big picture window. Some of you might have seen it on Instagram, or sometimes I got to post more about it, but it is such a space of sacred healing for me. I go in there and not only do I sweat in my body, I light the fire, which is always a meditation for me. I chant, I usually sing, or I'll stretch and do yoga in there. And just it's me time or friend time. We'll have friends over there too. It's just brought so much joy into my life, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And the hot and cold combination, because we have a cold tank outside of it as well, has been so amazingly healing for my body and helped me build so much more mental strength. Anyone who's into cold therapy gets this part. It's all a mental game. So I've really gotten to practice that and even just getting more mentally stronger by having that hot cold combination. So I could do a whole episode about the benefits of my sauna. It is so my happy place. And I'm probably going to go in there tonight. Other really, really best investments I've ever made, signing up with that coach that I talked to you about earlier, working with my mentors, hiring a therapist, working with my team, building my team, my support team, people who help me see the areas where I need to grow. I'm currently working with a womb coach who's helping me really clear some traumas and do some deep, deep divine feminine healing. That investment was a no-brainer. It's a 6-month course that I'm doing with her one-on-one, and it's been absolutely incredible, helping me connect deeper with my feminine and my body. So these sorts of things, these building my support team, working with people who are going to be there to mirror and support and call me out and help keep me accountable at a deep level, has just hands down made the biggest difference in my life. Okay, kitchen tools. I have to write these in here because having a kitchen that is aligned with inspiring me to cook and create healthy foods has been so good. And the two things that pop to my head are my Vitamix and my really sharp, expensive knives. These are two things that bring me so much joy every time I use them in the kitchen and just make me feel really abundant and like a professional chef sometimes. So investing in those ways, I love always kind of having a new tool or new things in my kitchen that help me create new delicious meals. Some other things that are smaller, but for anyone who knows Lululemon, it's not really a smaller investment. It's quite expensive, but workout clothes that I love. Really great running shoes, really awesome yoga pants. I actually just invested a couple $100s in a few really high quality sports bras that just make me feel so damn good and are so supportive. These sorts of things help encourage me to exercise. I'm actually going to a hot yoga class tonight to rock my awesome new outfits. So those have really helped me, not only feel better in my body, but also want to work out, right? I've got these outfits that now fit and feel good. Another really amazing investment is my standing desk. So if you're watching me on YouTube, and actually if you ever watch me, I'm usually standing. I sit a lot as well. I try to alternate throughout the day, but buying the standing desk years ago, my husband and I both bought one, and this has been such a great investment, just even in, not just in my health, for my body and my posture, but also for my mind, because when I am creating and I'm working and between client calls, I'm usually playing some loud music and dancing while I work. And that feels just so good in my body, and it helps my mind, and it just helps bring more lightness and joy into my life. So it's not only for my physical, it's such a mental health thing for me too, to stand and to be able to move more and dance to music if I want to while I'm working. Okay. Another really, really important investment that I continue to make in my health and is such a no-brainer. And I know I've talked about this now. I've officially come out here on the podcast about the deep psychedelic and medicine work that I've been doing, and these ceremonies and the one-on-one support that I have been doing over the last few years has been absolutely one of the best investments in my life. And not one, I've done many now, and it's going to continue to be the best investment that I ever make in myself is doing this work at a really deep healing level. And travel, retreats. These things really light me up in so many ways. Travel to tropical destinations or to explore other cultures, going to retreats, right? Yoga retreats or meditation retreats or any type of retreat where I'm surrounded by other really conscious, amazing, beautiful human beings and moving my body. And in that line with that, some of the other best investments that I've made are my own retreats. If you're new to the podcast, maybe you don't know this yet, but every quarter I rent an Airbnb. I invest in myself. I remember the first time I did that, it was so scary. What? I'm going to spend 150, 200 bucks a night on myself? That feels like a waste. It felt like a waste. And oh boy, did that help me really look deep into why that was. But now I do this consistently because I know I'm worth it. And I absolutely love taking myself away on these adventures and investing in myself by paying for this beautiful Airbnb so I can have a little Dani retreat. And I go away and just absorb being with me. I'm actually going to be doing that again coming up in February, which will be really, really beautiful. And I'm so excited to have that time for me. That is a way that I invest money and time for myself and energy, right? To just nurture and look after what Dani needs. This other piece that, I've talked about already today, like this training that I'm going to. So training and courses and areas where I can continue to grow in person feels really important to me. So to be in a room with like-minded people who also want to grow, and the friendships and connections and conversations that happen in those trainings or retreats or whichever way we create them are pretty profound. And they always shift me in such a huge way that I take back into my everyday life. And the last thing that I'll mention here is more of a time investment, right? That has been so important for me, and I'm really noticing how much more and more important this is for me. But actually spending time, investing time with those who lift me up, those who support me and really want to see me succeed versus the people in my past who didn't really lift me up. So that's a really, really important distinction as well. Being in the right communities. I guess that's what I'm saying is I put myself, whether it's retreats or trainings or in friend groups, like invested time, invested money to be in the right community that was actually going to support me in a safe space to grow and heal. So these sorts of things are so important. And then this off the top of my head as well, of course, this is such a beautiful investment that I make in myself. On a monthly basis, I do some sort of body work. So maybe I'll go for a reflexology treatment or massage. I'll go to, like tonight, I'm going to pay a ridiculous amount of money to do a drop-in yoga class because I know that's going to be so good for my body. So investing in these classes, or this is maybe a small way to start investing in your health, right? Maybe there's a local class or meditation class or something that you want to do in your local area that you know is just going to fuel you and make you feel so good. So as you can see, most of what I shared in this list is not a small investment. And I've mentioned before, the biggest shifts and results in my mental health, my emotional health, my physical health was actually when I really stepped out of my comfort zone and made a big investment in myself. It pushed me to grow and stay accountable to doing the work. This is the difference between, and I know many of you are doing this, right? You're in the free Facebook groups, you've already downloaded my freebie, right? These free ebooks, the free this or the cheap things that are great information, but they don't hold you accountable. And there's no clarity, there's no action steps. It's really easy to just pretend like we're doing the work, but we're not. And this is one of the reasons why I see most women never fully succeeding in their journey with sugar, is that they haven't really committed to doing the work and getting the guidance from someone who's walked in your shoes like me to actually put these things into practice and see the shifts that need to happen. So don't let that be you this year, right? I want you to really, and I'm hoping that this has started opening at least a tiny crack in your subconscious, in your heart, where you can start to really feel into your worth. Whether or not people around you see it. This is really important. You might have a husband who doesn't see it, doesn't think you should invest in yourself. Don't spend that money on yourself. Maybe your friends don't see it. You can still see it. It's there because you were born worthy. And I don't want you holding yourself back. If there's something that you know you need for your health and healing, whether it's the upcoming Break Free from Sugar program or something else, or a sauna or something else, right? Do it. Do it. Nobody ends up on their deathbed going, I wish I didn't invest in that amazing thing that made me feel great. Nobody. And these preventative pieces, especially when we're talking about investing in our health and our healing, all of the preventative things that we can do, like buying a sauna, right? Or really deeply surrounding ourselves in the right communities to heal and release all of our emotional baggage that's keeping us hooked on sugar. These are the things that really make life worth living. So don't hold yourself back anymore. Just don't. I'm so passionate about this because you are so worthy. And anything that you want is possible. You just have to choose to live in the world of possibility. So that's my final invitation for you, to live in the world of possibility. How can you make this thing happen for yourself? How can you find the time, find the money, whatever it is that you are working towards or that you really want for your health and healing? Make it happen. You are so capable. Okay. Now that you know that, that's amazing. I'm so glad. I hope that this was really helpful. And I really sincerely hope to invite you in to come and ride the journey with us and this next amazing group of women who have already joined the Break Free from Sugar program. Like I said, registration is opening on January 24th and closing on January 28th. So you're going to want to make sure to come and get on the wait list. Book a call with me next week as well. You're welcome to do that during the registration period. We can chat so I can answer more questions. I'm going to be releasing a lot more here on the podcast for more information. So stay tuned on the podcast. I'm releasing a few bonus episodes this round, so that you'll have lots of things to really understand what the program is all about, what you can expect, and some other incredible surprise bonuses that I'm throwing in for everyone who joins this time. So hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you again for tuning into another episode, and I cannot wait to see you on the next one. Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning into another episode. If you're loving what we talked about today, please remember to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone you love. And if you're ready to dive deeper into discovering your root causes and patterns that are keeping you hooked on sugar, be sure to check out our brand new free workshop series that will help you kick emotional eating for good. Find the link to download this free series and other amazing resources in the show notes below.